Okay, so now in this instance, we've worked with this header and we've worked with changing themes back and forth. Let's go ahead and take a look at another new feature inside of WordPress 3, which is the ability to be able to change your background. Now, for this, what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to just choose a file that you can work with. Now, for me, what I like to do is I like to be able to grab a file. I'm just going to go ahead and just grab a file that I have here on my desktop called WebBG. And I tend to keep my file relatively big in size. So if we were to take a look right here and go to the image size, this is 1900 by 1369. That's even a little too big. So I probably make this about 1600. And for me, what I would do here is I would unlock this and I would put a solid color fill layer of whatever color I want to be able to match and put it into the background. Now, once I have that set, I can go ahead and grab this layer here at the top and just mask it. It's going to reveal everything. But from here, I can go ahead and use a brush, a relatively large brush, because I zoom out a little bit. And using my black color on a soft feather brush, you can go ahead and, let's go ahead and really feather this out. I can use the edges of this brush to kind of really transform those sides. If it gets a little too much, I can always just switch back to white and paint it back in. And maybe what I'd like to be able to do in this instance is I'd like to be able to kind of darken that a little slower. So I'm going to drop my flow here a little bit. I'll switch back to black. I'll make my brush a little smaller and just kind of take care of those edges. I want those edges to kind of trail off to whatever color I'm looking for. Right now it's black, but I mean I could double click on this and select one of these colors from the list. But the key point to all of it is just to make sure you trail to the color that you want to be able to go to. So for me, I'm just going to go to straight black. And I'm also going to make sure that I do this here towards the bottom of this. So I kind of always give these graphics this kind of treatment because I think it just kind of measures up a little nicer. But the key with all of it is to make sure that you get to that color. You want to make sure that this gets to it, that it doesn't just kind of trip off a little bit. Maybe my flow is a little too low. I want to make sure that I get to that black color. So make sure that those very edges get right in there. And you can just kind of zoom in and just take a look at those sections and make sure that you're okay. Once you have that set, my mask looks all right here. I'm going to flatten this down. I'll go ahead and I'll do a save for web. Oh, let's go ahead and bring this out here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come over. I'm going to grab one of my JPEG highs. Matter of fact, I could probably even go to JPEG medium for this. Yeah, let's say. Let's just keep it like that for now. Obviously, I would probably tweak this a little bit. I'll go ahead and I'll replace that one graphic and I'm just going to close it. It's going to ask me to make some save. It's going to save some changes here. Keep in mind that it just overwrote, so you already did that change once. I'm going to click on Don't Save. I'm going to go back inside of the back office here and I'll go ahead and I'll choose this file and choose my web background. I'll upload that in here. Notice that right now this is tiling to be able to go all the way across. You have the option to be able to come over here and visit the site and see what the site's actually going to look like. So it wasn't necessarily, it was just tiling to kind of show you on that one section, but it's not necessarily going to tile in this one area here. And if I want to be able to kind of now see, I'm just going to go ahead and resubmit this one form. You can position it left, center, right. You also have the option to be able to not repeat this. Tile horizontally, tile vertically. And you can scroll or you can have it fixed. The color, you can select an overall color. There's a wheel that will appear for this. Or if you already know it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that that's the color for black. Once you update that and do a refresh here, and now this has a background. So it's pretty easy for you to be able to kind of set up and modify with working with these kinds of backgrounds. I'm not necessarily going to worry about doing overall design with this, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the background image, and I'll save those changes. I'm going to go back over to the header section, and I'm going to also remove that header, and I'm going to set it to this sunset, which I think looks kind of cool, and save those changes. Because the key point here is going to be for us to be able to talk about how to be able to add functionality, not necessarily talk about design. So with functionality, one of the new changes that they've made is this one section here with menus. So let's go ahead and talk about that in the next lesson.